Everybody, welcome back to Finding My Perfect Awkward. This week I'm with BJ from BJ and Mix in Seattle, and somebody who is a troll, but is one of the best people I've ever met. How are you, BJ?
I'm very good, and I think you've finally done it. This might be the last show because I am the perfect awkward. I don't think you have to look any further. I know. It's hard. What do you do when you finally get the Holy Grail? What do you do when you finally get to the top of the mountain and realize, wow, I found it? Or,
I'll let
uh,
you know when it
or,
happens.
oh, wow, I have never been so disappointed at not being considered perfectly awkward. You know
Anybody
what?
who doesn't know you is like, wow, this
Yeah.
guy is a real piece of work. So, for everybody who doesn't know, we met at Morning Show Boot Camp, and we're going to get into your radio background, how you got to be where you're at. But first, I want to say how we met. So, we were at Morning Show Boot Camp, and it was like 3 a.m. And it was in the lobby of the hotel at Morning Show Boot Camp. And it was after a long night for everybody. And we sparked a conversation. We talked for another like half hour long.
I love going to conventions and talking to radio people and really talking about the art of it. It enlivens me. It's just like just electrifying my system when that happens. And so not everybody is up for that. Not everybody is up for these massive, awesome conversations of depth about the art of the business. Lots of people like to talk about the science of radio and numbers and strategies and bits, and I think there's such a great art to what we do, and that's what I love talking about. And I tell everybody, hey, I'll be at the bar, not so much to have beverages, but I know that's a great meeting place. And a beverage tends to lighten people up, and they don't know everybody. And then when you're somebody like myself that looks the way that I do, and has a little bit of success in the business, I remember when I started going to them 30 years ago, it was very intimidating to talk to folks that look like me and have had a little bit of my career. So I thought, yeah, the bar's a good place. Have a beverage, ask whatever you want. And that's where I like to go. I don't like to leave the hotel and do anything. Because when do you get a chance to talk to all of the brothers and sisters that do what we do and love it for the art of it? They're just something inside them. They don't know why. They don't know what drives them. Like it's in you. Like, why am I doing this? But I must do this. Kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I love talking to people who are like that.
I can tell that you love talking to people, period. For an example, just outside of even radio, when we were at the wedding, you were talking to everybody you could. Now, you were also the father of the bride, but it just goes into your personality of you want to, I don't know if it's more of like you want to make yourself known, but more of like you want to make everybody aware that you are somebody to go to for anything, advice, etc.
Yeah, and the real, I guess the real secret to who I am is that it's the last thing that I want to do.
Just give advice.
I don't want to talk to anybody.
You don't want to talk to anybody.
And it's not that I shouldn't say that. It's not that I don't want to talk to anybody. It's that I am afraid that I will be rejected, that nobody wants to talk to me. Why would they ever want to talk to me? I am so nervous to do anything one-on-one. I am very comfortable addressing a group, thousands of people, whatever. But talking to somebody one-on-one, just going up to them and being friendly and welcoming, I am so afraid I'll be rejected that it is the hardest thing for me to do. And so it's my practice. That's why I do it. I do it because I know in my head I'm making up stories that, like a person like you, because I can make up all these stories. Like, here's a young woman. Why would she want to talk to me? So therefore, I will not talk to her because I don't want to ruin her evening by talking to her, because why would she want to talk to me? That's what my mind tells me. But lots of therapy, it's like, BJ, you don't know what people are thinking. Why would you? But it's just a childhood thing. Like, nobody wants to talk to me. Nobody wants me in their life. Oh, great childhood trauma stuff. But yes, so it's my work. Like, that is my, I've got to do this and psych myself up. And I hope, you make me feel like, okay, I'm doing a good job of it, but it is such a monumental challenge to do. Once I get to know somebody, or if I feel comfortable in a room, yeah. Or if somebody comes up to me, yeah. But to reach out, like at the wedding, my daughter's wedding with all of the people I don't know. But I thought, you're the father of the bride, dude. And, plus this is what your challenge is. Go make people feel welcome. Say hi. They probably don't hate you. It's like, that's the best I can do. They probably don't hate you, which is, someday I might get further than that, Kira. But at least I've got that point where they probably don't hate me, right?
I don't think that they hated you.
See, thank you. Yeah, I know it's the funny stuff that's at least in my head from from all the years I've been on the planet, and I've been doing a lot of work to try to change the programming, remove the hard drive, and put in some new stuff.
Yeah. Well, the mind is so powerful. Like it can do a lot of good, but it can do a lot of bad. So it's good to work on that. That's good.
Yeah. Well, with great wisdom or age comes great responsibility.
Sure does. So speaking of which,
the circle is complete.
Speaking of which, you have a morning show in Seattle with
I do.
Steve Miggs. How did you get to doing that? Like tell me a little bit about your radio background and how you got to there.
Lots of blackmail. Lots of lying, lots of false documents, and you too can be here. Well, I mean, it was really Steve and I met very early on in both of our careers in Seattle. He was in his 20s, very young guy, and he worked for a buddy of mine at a very successful morning show. I had just come to town, really licking my wounds after losing a job previously. And I was just starting this new thing, and I met Steve, and I thought it was funny because he told me the name of his band, which was Peter Parker, and similar to you. Immediately I was like, dude, that you mean after Spider-Man? And he's like, yeah, nobody knows that. But this was many years ago, before even the first Spider-Man movie. So, of course, how do I not love Steve? So we met then, and then over the years, he had worked at another station, had a lot of success at that other station, and then they switched stations. That did not go so well, so their show ended and it disbanded pretty much. And so Steve was without a home, and I had just started the morning show at KISW, a rock station in Seattle. We were about to, but we needed to add people. I had a midday show. It was only a 3-person show. Once we were moved to mornings, they said, hey, you can add some more people. And immediately I thought, hey, Steve may be available and he's fantastic at what he does. So let's see if we can get him. And I love this. Kira, this is so weird about our business. So his company said, sure, we don't want to pay him anymore. And they worked out some sort of deal. And I think that maybe his company was paying a little bit of his salary along with whatever we were paying him. And then we ended up like doing really well in the ratings. And I thought, this is the weirdest thing. His company is paying us to beat their radio station. But okay, if that's how they're going to do it. All right. Yeah. He came in as the 4th guy. The great thing about Steve is that, man, and it's a lesson it's so hard for me to learn just in anything in life. He knew his place. He knew he had to get trust, even though we knew each other. We never worked together. And at the time, my gosh, credit to him, I was a mess as far as up here. I hadn't really done a lot of therapy all those years ago, back in 2006. I might have just been starting, but Steve had to somehow navigate the minefield of working with me. Sure, I might be good on the radio, but boy, I was not a good employee, not a good boss, very chaotic. Steve was amazing and through all that, he was like, what do you need me to do? I will be that guy. And Steve is super talented, but the stuff we had him doing at the beginning was really nowhere near the use of his talents. There were 2 guys ahead of him, and I'm a big loyalty guy. So eventually Steve was patient. The other 2 people just fell away and ended up not being on the show anymore. Next thing you know, Steve rises up to the number 2 position and just kills it. It's like, he was like, okay, what do you need me to do? And every time you ask Steve, well, hey, would you do this? He does it with flying colors. And so here I was a little worried, like, I don't know, hopefully he can do this. I don't, I don't know. I didn't listen to his show much when he was on the other place. Well, of course, the rest is history. He's fantastic. And so
Mhm.
we've been doing this since 2006, and we renamed the show because really, I mean, he is just so responsible for so much of the show. I just felt weird calling it just my name on the show. And so we said, hey, man, how about BJ and Migs? And he was like, sure, I dig that, And so it's been that way for, maybe 5 to 7-ish years, I think. Actually, even
Wow.
longer than that, because Danny's been, so it's almost could be 8, 9 years that it's been BJ and Migs, but we've been together since 2006.
Oh, wow. So, another cool thing about your show is that you get to work with your kids.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff.
Isn't that insane?
It is insane. I think any parent that has an industry or a job that they have would, you always hear that old story. I hope the kids follow in my footsteps, whatever those footsteps are. I never really wanted to push that on my kids because, first of all, this business it's a tough one. And so
Yeah.
it's like, hey, you got to love it to want to be in it. And both Joey and Sarah are very artistic, and my wife is not a 9 to 5er. So, I knew where the apples were going to fall. I knew how these kids were. They were not going to be 9 to 5 kids. And I think that's so important as a parent to really understand who you are, who your spouse is, and then you will know who your kids are, and then be able to help them navigate life because they have bits of your traits. And so both of us knew, we're like, these kids are probably going to not, they're just not going to be regular 9 to 5ers. That's just not who they are. And hey, they're not. So Sarah she wanted to be a musical theater person. She was all about dancing. And unfortunately, 3 injuries, and this kid went and got surgeries. I mean, she really wanted to be a dancer. Multiple injuries in high school, injuries in college. I mean, but she was like, put me under the knife. I will dance until I die. And eventually it was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. And I was like, well, you still have all this performance art background. Why don't you go try acting? She tried acting, thought it was boring. And so I said, hey, what would you love to do? She goes, I love live performance. I want to perform live. And I thought, well, that's what I do. Radio is live performance, especially what we do. And
Yeah.
I've known her for so long. And Kira, she's got a lot of my personality. She can argue about anything. She can talk about anything. Even if she has no knowledge of a subject, that doesn't matter. She can carry on a conversation. She'll find a way to connect, get in. And I've always felt like that is a super valuable trait for our industry. So I've
Yeah.
known this since she was a little kid. I thought, God, she's so good. I know she'll be good in my business, but I didn't want to push her.
Right.
So I said, hey, would you like to do an internship on the show, see what's up? And then I went to the company and said, look, I just wanted to get experience. I don't know what it's going to be. And if you guys think there's a conflict of interest, whatever. It turns out they ended up liking her more than me. They said, hey, perhaps you and Sarah should stay. Uh, she's a great employee. She is able to, she is so, but she has a performance background. She can perform and make you think she is out of her mind, crazy lady, ratchet out of, and then once the mic is off, becomes this dutiful employee. Like, what do you need? It is it's fascinating to me just how good she is at performing. She really makes you believe whatever she wants you to believe, like all the great actors and actresses do. And Joey's a lot like mom, quiet. So he's not in your face. And so with him, it's like I really had to really help out and really dig a little bit to go, what do you want to do in life? And he did this, he did a couple of things, but he was unhappy, I could tell, but he doesn't vocalize it. Sarah, believe me, you know if Sarah's happy, every emotion she's got going on.
Yeah.
She's not shy like that, and neither am I. But with Joe, I really had to do some digging. And so eventually I sat him down. I said, we'll get you a career counselor. I really want you to, I want you to find whatever it is, whatever we can do. I go, can you tell me some of your interests, what you think you would like to do? And so again, I've been doing this ever since he was born. This is my job. So he says, well, I kind of like interviewing people, getting audio interviews, editing stuff. I really like editing audio. And he's telling me all these things. And as he's telling me this, I look him in the eye and I go, do you know what I do for a living? So he never said anything. And I mean, and he's such a sweet guy. He's just like, well, Dad, I just didn't want to bother you. And I thought, wow, so again, I got him an internship and he does a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. And again, I said to the company, look, if it doesn't work out, I don't want conflict. I go, I don't want, there's none of this. If the kid's a bad employee, if either one of them, they're gone. I go, that's just how this is going to be. This is a professional business. Well, again, they like him a lot more than me.
That's fair.
The company is just like, your kids are amazing. I really feel like you're the problem. So, and the idea that as adults that I get to work with them every day, because I wouldn't see them. You go on, live your life. You're living all the way across the country yourself. I get to see them every day, which most parents, when their kids move out, that doesn't happen. So they're in my business doing what I love. And I get to see them every day. I mean, it's fantastic. It really, really is. And they have gotten so close working together. And that's been fun to see because the sibling rivalry was there when they were growing up. But now I'm getting to see that they're both in their 30s and just the genuine affection they have for each other. So it's been good on a lot of levels having them there. And I'm happy they're there because they really do a good job and everybody in the company loves them. And they've contributed so much to the show. Find those great people that you can always talk to who will be kind. Be kind and no strings attached kind of a thing. That would be the greatest thing you could find. They're out there. I was lucky enough to find them. That's why I go to boot camp, and anybody that wants to talk to me, if I can be that person for them, I will, because people did that for me.
Can you do an impression?
Can I do an impression? I do a couple of lame ones on the show. The Godfather, and usually, on the day of my daughter's wedding, it's like I said, they're really bad. I can do a William Shatner, Captain Kirk. I can't believe, but they're really kind of not good.
Really funny though.
Yeah, it's Do
Captain Kirk again?
I refuse to do that impression. But I will say, Kira, at this moment, you are asking questions. I love William Shatner. His career is such an inspiration. He has stayed relevant for so many years.
Yeah, and he's older, but like he did stuff. Obviously, he's best known for Star Trek, but he was in Boston Legal, and he was freaking hilarious in that.
Denny Crane, classic character.
Yes.
And a great interview. He knows how to do a radio interview, and it's a skill.
What is the Star Trek character that other people say that you are most like?
Oh, wow. Man, that is interesting. Boy, oh boy. That's a great question. I'm not sure if I've ever been compared to a Star Trek character, though probably Spock, because every once in a while I like to get logical and I will try to use logic in situations, frankly, to win an argument. And doesn't always work with family members, though. They really don't respond well to logic when they're going, doesn't matter what your logic is. I am your spouse. I am your child. And I will say we're doing it this way. And it's like, dang it. The Vulcan logic didn't work.
That is it for today, BJ.
That's it.
That
is all. Wow.
That's all she wrote.
My pleasure. Thank you for thinking of me, because the group of you folks and the radio fam, what you've created, this wonderful, wonderful group of people that just have a love for each other, a love for the business, and I look at it. I look at it admiringly, going, I used to be like that. I used to be young, and I used to be like happy. It's like all of those things. And you guys are just so inspiring to me. You remind me, oh, right. I got into this business for that reason, because sometimes I forget. just doing the day-to-day everything that's got to be done in life. And you guys are such a great reminder, and also so inspiring to see, like, wow, this is the future of our business. And it's never looked more awesome in my mind, seeing people like you and everybody in the radio fam. And so to the idea that you would invite me in and let me hang in the club for a little bit is a great honor. Thank you.
Where can people find you on social?
Oh, well, that is a good question. Where probably, I know there are people that do it for me. Okay. The sad thing is that, I'm the kind of person with, my Sarah is our one of our social people. She just puts a phone in front of me. I have no idea where it's going. She'll just go, Dad, this is what I want you to do. And I'll have filters on me. I won't know what's happening. I really feel like it's elder abuse, but since I don't know where the heck it is, somewhere on TikTok, I'm probably just being made fun of horribly by the videos put up by okay. So let's, probably. Yeah. Instagram, I see once in a while, at BJ Shea, BJSHEA. That's the Instagram. I think that's Twitter. And then the Facebook, the real BJ Shea, and BJ and Migs too. That's what we're there at BJ. You know what? I am I am the worst person on our show to ask anything like that at all. It's like, I don't even how do you drive the car? I don't know. I go usually sit in the passenger side. I don't know. I know I get out the door and I'm there. So I really am the worst guy to ask how to do anything. And I wish I could blame my age. I wish I could blame my age, but this has pretty much been my career. I don't know how to do anything. I don't run the board. I never have. Whenever I run the board, it's been a disaster. I'm just a mess. So yeah, where can you find me? Probably in an early bird special, getting social with a couple of 90-year-old women, and maybe a little mahjong, a little bingo. That's how I get social, Kira. That's where you can find me, with a dabber in my hand. How about that?
I love bingo, man. It's amazing.
There you go. You know what's up. I think I gave some correct socials. 99.9 KISW. You can look up that on on the webs. I think you can even ask Alexa to play us if she's not, if she's feeling like, she's willing to do so. Sometimes she gets a little ornery and goes, I'm not doing that for you, pal. Yeah. And all the internets. Oh, Odyssey, the Odyssey app, AUDACY. You can get us there, right? Feel like that's a thing, right? Isn't that a thing? Kira, I need somebody. What are you doing? You want to come help run the show so I know where the hell I am? I don't even know where I am, Kira. I don't know where I am. I don't even know. Believe me, if you thought that I was able to actually make this happen myself, somebody set this up. I'm not going to know how to turn this off. I hope you know how to turn this off. I don't know how to turn this off.
I can do. This is the most awkward episode I think I've ever done.